Were you told to write more tickets?
Yes. We want to be able to do our jobs. And my job's not a tax collector.
Ogden police officers say they've been forced to grab their pens and write more tickets.
Police quotas. Are they a myth or are they actually a reality? Let's talk about it here on The Human Side. Okay, so have you ever been pulled over and was written a ticket and you either told the officer or you thought, man, you only write me this ticket to meet your quota? I know that I personally have been told and accused of writing someone a ticket simply because I was trying to meet some type of quota. I know this is a question that is often asked of me by friends and family members. And I recently had a conversation with someone regarding tickets and whether officers are actually writing tickets to meet a certain quota. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Officer Jill, and I am a 16-year police officer in Los Angeles. And my purpose for this channel, my purpose for this podcast is to improve the relationship between law enforcement and the community and talk about all things policing. So today, let's talk about, is it true? Are police officers actually writing tickets to meet a quota? Or is it all just a whole big myth? This topic is full of surprises. And I'll admit, even I learned some things about how police departments are navigating this space of police quotas. Check this out.
They were out there trying to keep their jobs, nitpicking drivers for the smallest violations. The city was counting cash. And now emails obtained by Fox 13 prove it. What's the subject line say?
Subject is quota.
So, as you can see, the answer to whether police quotas are real or not is yes and no. Clearly, in other states, they're still practicing police quotas. However, I know here in California, New York, Illinois, and other states, it is explicitly illegal. In fact, I know there have been officers in Los Angeles who have sued police departments and have won millions of dollars for police departments appearing to apply some type of quota to officers. What's the history surrounding police quotas? Check this out. So the concept of police quotas dates back to the mid-20th century when performance metrics became a way to assess officer productivity. In some departments, quotas were informal expectations rather than official policies. Today, many states have outlawed quotas, like I stated, including Illinois, California, New York. However, as you can see, in some states, quotas are still practiced. Check this out.
Washington, D.C. had issued $1 billion in parking tickets and traffic tickets in over a 3-year period.
$1 billion in D.C.? I'm not going to lie, that is wild. But I can believe it. Many departments claim that quotas don't exist. However, there have been a lot of conversations about officers feeling pressured to provide a certain amount of stats.
The Richardson Police Department has been illegally using quotas to evaluate and discipline officers. Patrol officers are threatened with punishment for not writing enough tickets, arresting enough people, and/or making enough citizen contacts.
She told City Council last month that it's done under the guise of monthly productivity reports to compare officers to one another. Walker said the threats include schedule changes, which could potentially limit her parenting time.
I'm literally faced with a choice of violating state law or limiting my time with my child. No parent should ever have to make that choice.
So I'm glad that I work in a state that does not have a quota system. We all know the relationship between law enforcement and the community is not well. It needs some work. And adding something like quotas and putting officers in those type of positions where they have to actually write you a ticket and risk being punished and or ridiculed, it's just not fair. It's just not fair to the officers, and it's not fair to the communities that they serve. Now, I also understand that every state, every city, every town is different. Now, I'm not condoning police quotas, but I know there's always more going on the back end. I can tell you from personal experience that when I myself have conducted a traffic stop, it was for one or two reasons. The person was doing something that was obviously dangerous and illegal, or that traffic stop was leading to something far bigger than the actual violation. What do I mean by that? I'll give you an example. For the common person, you're going to mostly experience a contact with law enforcement on a traffic stop. And a traffic stop is not necessarily a bad thing. Traffic stops are actually great tools that we use to not only maintain safety on the road, but also to catch criminals who have committed bigger crimes. What do I mean? One example would be the Oklahoma City bomber who killed 168 people. He was captured simply on a traffic stop. And I know myself personally, I have made some great arrests of people who have committed bigger crimes, far bigger than the actual traffic violation. In fact, I'm going to share a story with you. I was on patrol and my partner and I were starting our shift. It was early in the morning and it was about 5 a.m. We had just left the Starbucks. We got our cup of coffee. We're actually heading to our normal assignment. We had a particular assignment that was given to us by the captain that we had to do every morning. And we were driving down the road and we noticed a car driving towards us. And that car had fresh TC damage. What is TC damage? TC is just short for traffic collision damage. So we can see that the light was broken, the bumper was hanging. Anyone in their right mind could see that this person just hit something. And the way that he was driving just did not seem to be normal. I looked at my partner. We both looked at each other and thought, and we, without even saying it, we both thought he's probably driving drunk and just hit some parked cars and ran. And to ensure the safety of the other people on the road, we made a U-turn and we didn't go a pursuit. We were just going to stop him to see what happened, to verify if what we thought had happened had happened. Sure enough, we make a U-turn. And as I'm making my U-turn, I see him in the rearview mirror making a quick, hard turn. And yes, I'm sure you're thinking exactly what I was thinking. He's trying to run now. I don't panic. I complete my turn, catch up to him. No lights, no siren. As I caught up to him on that street, I could see him hauling now down the street, making another left and what appeared to be trying to actively lose us. This particular area, there were small streets. We knew the area much better than he did. And long story short, we were able to cut him off before he can actually get too far. And as we pulled behind him, obviously he knew we were there for him. He stopped abruptly and he jumped out of the car. We go through the whole process and we stop him, we talk to him, we interview him, and the conversation turns out he was actually in a vehicle of a man who was missing and was presumed dead, along with his credit cards and all his information. Fast forward to the story, sometime later, he was actually wanted and arrested for not only potentially killing this missing person, but also killing his family and cutting them up and putting them into a actual ice chest. So all of that came from a traffic stop. So traffic stops are not the enemy here. Police quotas are.
Kevin Lawrence, the executive director of the Texas Municipal Police Association, says ticket quotas are illegal for good reason.
You wind up with less confidence in your local law enforcement agency. You deteriorate the relationship between your citizens and your police department.
But he says he'll be surprised if this case reaches the level of illegal quota.
Measuring productivity is okay. When it becomes a violation is when they're attempting to increase revenues by writing a bunch of tickets.
Richardson's city manager says the matter is under thorough review, saying this review will involve outside legal counsel and will be conducted in an orderly and expeditious way.
Now, having these very explicit requests for officers to meet certain quotas is just not good. It's not good for the officers. It's not encouraging for the community. It's not good for anyone. And it probably hurts morale. Now, I will say, I don't think there's anything wrong with a police department or any job for that matter requiring their employees or requesting their employees to do the job that they're asked to do. And the reality is, if you are a police officer, chances are you're working probably 10 to 12 hours at least. And if you are consistently coming back to the station from working your 10 to 12 hour shift and you have absolutely nothing to show for it, no traffic citations, no traffic stops, no arrest on a regular basis, I don't think it's wrong for your police department to kind of give you a side eye and be like, what have you been doing all day? Let's be honest. You would do the same. Now, as I shared my own personal experiences with traffic stops and how they lead to bigger crimes, the reality is they're really not that desirable for officers. We would definitely prefer to be handling bigger issues and catching the bigger fish. Okay, so let's talk about some of the misconceptions. I know, like I said, I know that I have been accused several times of writing a ticket simply for a quota. And as you can see, quotas are not practiced in every single state. But clearly they are in other states. And another misconception, officers enjoy writing tickets. We do not enjoy writing tickets. Tickets serve a purpose in the line of work that we do. They keep you and other people on the road safe, and oftentimes they lead to much bigger crimes. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. So are quotas a myth? No, they're not a myth. They are actually practiced in some states in which those funds from those citations actually fuel the revenue for the cities for certain services. But they're not in every single state. I would encourage you to do the research in the state that you live in to determine if quotas do exist. And if they do, I would love to know your experiences with your police department that actually has a quota. Particularly, how does it affect the relationship that you have with them? Feel free to go ahead and share in the comments below. And like always, if you want to have a respectful conversation with me about anything policing and ways that we can improve the relationship, feel free to hit me up. My contact information is in the description area of this video. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if there's any other topics that you want me to do a video of, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching. I hope that I was able to give you guys some valuable information. I know I learned some things myself in this video. All right. And remember, if you show me your human side, I'll show you mine. All right, y'all. Peace.